Hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Danganronpa 2, Goodbye, Despair. In the last episode, Hajime was learning more about Hope's Peak Academy and its downfall. To protect such rare talent, the Academy completely concealed all evidence of Izuru's origins and identity. Because of that, most of the students at the Academy were completely unaware of Izuru's existence. But Izuru, who was known as the symbol of hope, was responsible for a horrible incident. 13 students of Hope's Peak Academy's Student Council, among the Academy's best and brightest, were brutally murdered by Izuru because he had been experimented on and his ass said, "Nope! Fuck this, I think you're the lesser beings now because you fucked with me so much, so I'ma murder some hoes, and this is why you don't experiment on people." However, the incident did not end there. The Academy tried to protect Izuru's superior talent and concealed the incident as though it never happened. However, a certain student began working in secret to use that incident to their advantage. Junko. That would have to be Junko. That student uncovered what the Academy did, and by making that knowledge public, it stoked the fires of Reserve Corps students who had long been dissatisfied with how they'd been treated. Here's the thing, why would that make the Reserve Corps students angry? If Izuru was a perfectly normal person who was born with just the ability to master many things, and thus they naturally had all of these talents, why would that piss off the Reserve Corps? It wouldn't, unless Izuru was actually Hajime and he had been maliciously experimented on and the Reserve Corps students realised, oh shit, we're just fodder to you. You can very easily experiment on us, like what the fuck? This ain't right. Like that. If Izuru was just a random person, that wouldn't affect the Reserve Corps, unless Izuru was originally a part of the Reserve Corps. It stoked the fires of Reserve Corps students who had long been dissatisfied with how they'd been treated. And the uprising began. And that heralded Hope's Peak Academy's destruction. This is the entirety of the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Eventually, that incident would lead to that horrifying, devastating incident. The incident that would be known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Works cited Danganronpa 0. With a heavy sigh, I closed the manga. Am I supposed to believe this? There's no way 13 people were killed at Hope's Peak Academy. What irony! For a genius known as the ultimate hope to cause such a gruesome incident. A talent like that is too regal for society. It's like trying to buy juice with a bar of gold. Whoa! You should be lucky that you're incompetent. Damn it. He always has to lead up to something offensive. He seriously pisses me off. But ultimate hope. Nagito mentioned that before too, but it looks like it means something completely different here. What Nagito said was the true meaning of hope. But for Izuru, hope simply means talent. More importantly, a genius who possesses various talents. I wish they'd given me one of those talents so I didn't have to be in the reserve department. They did. They gave you multiple talents and it warped your brain and turned you into, clearly, would you call that a serial killings take place over time? Mass murderer, there we go, that'd be the appropriate term. It turned you into a mass murderer, Hajime. I wish they'd given me one of those talents so I didn't have to be in the reserve department. That's right, the reserve department. Here, it said that the reserve corps students in the reserve department began uprising. Then what about me? Was I a participant too? You started it all. You made them realise just how expendable they were. No, that's not possible. There's no way. I have no reason to do something like that. Tragedy of Hope's Peak has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook. Anyway, I've learned about the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy, but the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is a far worse incident, right? What kind of incident was it? And who's this other student that isn't Izuru? A certain student who secretly used the incident to their advantage. Who is that? This incident is really messed up, but all it's doing is raising more questions. The mysteries just keep piling up. I'm about to sneeze. Oh, come on, don't do this. Oh no, don't do this. It died in the tip of my nose. Oh god, that stings. Oh, my eyes. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing any hidden Monokumas. Okay. So where to next? Yeah, we looked in that one. That one was really great at. Oh. Is this leading where I think it is? Are we going back to the morgue? We are! What the hell is this room? It's freaking cold in here. It's like I'm in a freezer or something. If I just stand still, I might end up freezing to death. I should hurry up and investigate so I can get out of here already. I see you.
I've been found!
Just 2 left, I believe. Okay, that's a camera. This looks like a plastic top. Why is this left out like this? Clean up after yourselves, will ya? And oh, the corpse cupboards are back! Hey! I've seen this in movies before. It's a refrigerator for preserving dead bodies. At least, that's what it looks like, but that's not possible, right? Keeping dead bodies in a high school biolab isn't something you should joke about. It just feels so forced. This idea should have been cancelled during development or something. What am I thinking? There's another manga just laying around here. This time the title is Manga for Morons, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history? I knew it. The next one would obviously be about this incident. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, huh? Just what was that incident really all about? It might turn out to be something lame. I flipped through the pages of the manga and hoped I was right. That is some cover art. A story about creepily drawn characters who get involved in such horrifying incidents. An incident known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Is this drawn so grotesquely because the incident itself is that grotesque? Anyway, the beginning of this creepy manga starts with this sentence. The tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy was simply the trigger. At first, the uprising by the Reserve Corps students that triggered the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy was initially hoped to be resolved quickly, but the situation continued to escalate to dangerous extremes. The movement started spreading all over the internet and fostered a thriving online community. The community was not limited to students, and people of various races and nations began joining in. But the movement was not confined to the internet, and began spreading and eroding the real world. When the movement started, it was indistinguishable from any other demonstration inspired by social unrest. But as it spread across the world, certain abnormalities soon came to light. By then it was too late. The ends and the means had vanished, and wanton destruction became their only goal. The strong butchered the weak. The weak killed the weakest among them. And soon the weak formed factions to brutally murder the strong. As the violence and death continued to spread, the shock of their actions began to disappear. As if the era was regressing to more uncivilized times, when senseless deaths were the norm. The media was oversaturated with deaths to the point where people would watch them while enjoying a meal. By the time the world realized what it had become, it was too late to stop what had happened. A feeling of immense despair began spreading, and eventually engulfed the world. Acts of terrorism and coups d'etats began occurring around the world. A war waged in the name of despair. A war fought not for principles, religion, or personal gain. Just war. Pure war. And because of that, there was no way to resolve it. How could a movement started by high school students progress to such a hopeless scenario? The only explanation is the existence of a certain organisation, devoted to a certain student who influenced Hope's Peak Academy. A group called Ultimate Despair. Instead of using Hope's Peak Academy's talents for the sake of mankind's hope, they used them for the sake of mankind's despair. Key members of society used their influence to brainwash the masses in order to spread despair. Tech-savvy computer programmers wrote software to spread despair. The powerful and influential created new values and morals to spread despair. And with this, they created the tragedy, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. As long as ultimate despair exists, the despair engulfing the world will never end. The tragedy will never end. My heart was racing in my chest, but my body felt ice cold. And it wasn't because I was freezing in this room. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. This is definitely all made up. I mean, if this is really true, then what's happening in the outside world? My family, my friends, the convenience store I frequent, the nearby bookstore, my favourite restaurant. What's happened to them?
No way!
Hey, are you seriously yelling at a manga? How crazy are you? Who would enjoy reading something like this?
What?
Oh my! You don't like manga? A high school student who doesn't like manga is like an office lady who doesn't like to eat candy. Enough! What is this messed up manga? I thought you'd obviously know about such a horrible event that destroyed the world, but for you not to remember that, such despair. That's the Future Foundation's fault, though, thanks to them stealing your school memories. The incident that happened during that period has been completely removed from your brains. This incident really happened, and I actually forgot about it. There's no way that's possible.
What are you saying?
How many times do I have to tell you? All the clues here are real.
Hello.
Please understand, I'm rooting for you. If you don't learn about the full extent of the outside world, you guys will suffer for it. I just want to help you guys so you can live well-adjusted lives in the outside world. I see. So that's how it is. That's what he meant by what he said at the beginning. Well, as the headmaster, I'm conflicted, you know? On one hand, I'm really happy that you're finally going to graduate. But on the other hand, I'm worried about whether you guys will be okay in the outside world. That's why I'm thinking about telling you what the outside world is like before you make a decision. Whether you want to leave Jabberwock Island or stay here. He's trying to make us feel despair toward the outside world, so we'll want to stay on this island. But there's no way I'm going to do what he wants. Despair like that simply can't exist. The outside world should be filled with hope. Just like now. Perhaps... No, that's definitely it. The tragedy has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. Whether or not this incident really happened, what in the world is this ultimate despair group? If they're devoted to a certain student who guided Hope's Peak Academy to its destruction, are they connected to both the tragedy and the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy? Plus, that organisation isn't just one person, but a group of people. But if they're known as Ultimate Despair, they're high school students, right? Well, if they were actually able to do it, then I guess that's why they were called Ultimates. Then, are the killings we're involved in connected to them as well? It's no use, I'm going to freeze to death. I'm at my limit, I need to get out of here. Shivering, I ran out of the freezing room. Phew, that was close. I nearly froze to death. So, where should I go next? Oh god, no, we want shift, not tab. There are a couple of rooms. Yeah, that one. Is anyone hanging about the corridors, though? No, alrighty then. So yeah, it was this one, I think. No, I should ignore it. I'm just going to pretend I didn't see him. Again, let's... Any hidden Monokumas. Any at all. Are you a hidden Monokuma? It could be. I could see them doing that, having one that's in plain sight and tricking the audience into being like, oh yeah, that's really him.
Hiya!
Why, hello, Hajime! I hope you're doing pleasingly well!
Pum, pum!
Are you pleasingly well? You're pleasingly well, right? What are you doing here?
No, no!
Well, there was another thing I needed to tell you on this floor. Teehee, I got bored of drawing manga. Can you forgive me for telling you by word of mouth? You should have done that from the beginning. I didn't want to read your manga in the first place. A high school student who doesn't like manga is like a sumo wrestler who doesn't like eating Hot Pots. I'm getting really fed up with your babbling. Hurry up, what did you need to tell me? Poo-hoo-hoo. It's about that key piece of information you've been waiting so long for.
What?
Surprise! It's about Ultimate Despair. Huh? Ahem! Even though the term Ultimate Despair refers to a group these days...
Actually...
It was originally the title for a high school girl who was the most powerful, evil, and feared person alive. A high school girl?
Yes, indeed!
Lady Junko Enoshima. So it wasn't Barbara. Junko Enoshima?
Hey,
As the former Ultimate Despair, she created a despair brimming with charm and humor. And created the Ultimate Despairs. Hoo-hoo-hoo. There was one really horrible person in that group.
Don't fuck with me!
Hold on a sec. I don't know what the ultimate despairs are, but it's not that easy to form an organization. There's no way people would join some fucked up organization created by a high school girl.
Unbelievable.
Humans who are obsessed with their philosophy have an uncanny power to attract others. It's a trait shared by many famous leaders throughout history, right? There's nothing strange about it.
Hey,
That holds true for Lady Junko. With her charismatic ability to attract people, she even influenced those in the highest echelons of power.
Phew.
Her connections were the main reason that incident became the tragedy in the first place. So she even recruited people who would have been in a position to neutralize the threat?
Huh?
Then what was their purpose?
Huh?
What?
You...
Like I said, why did they cause the incident? It doesn't even make sense. They had a purpose, right? There's no way they do what they did without any purpose. I mean, despair for despair's sake.
Hey,
It was Junko Enoshima's despair. Huh? For Junko Enoshima, despair isn't about purpose, a set of principles, a way of life, or an instinct. Despair is what defines Junko Enoshima as Junko Enoshima. What are you saying? I'm a stuffed plushie. Hajime is a human. It's exactly like that. Junko Enoshima is full of so much despair that she's truly hopeless. Here's the thing, that is a present tense. That is not past tense. Junko Enoshima was so full of despair that she was truly hopeless. That is present now. Junko Enoshima is full of so much despair that she's truly hopeless. Living, dying, eating, loving. For her, everything is despair. What the hell? With her overwhelming force of personality, Junko recruited the ultimate despairs one by one. She controlled their despair by taking advantage of their love, hate, grudges, anything really. Junko's despair is far more dreadful than any other. That idea had been slammed right into their minds. And so, the ultimate despairs who had been recruited became nothing more than Junko's limbs. All despair, whether it was their own or anyone else's, was dedicated to Junko Enoshima. Like believers making offerings to their god. Like a mother providing food to her children. They dedicated all despair so they could escape from despair, all in Junko Enoshima's name. For example, they killed their families and friends and even destroyed their bodies through relentless mutilation. And to hopelessly top it off, they completely believed it was something that they had to do. There's no way something that crazy, that crazy, again, I'm sorry, my voice, I'm enjoying this game, but I am looking forward to getting to the end of it because my throat is starting to suffer. Like, cause I'm enjoying myself, I'm really enjoying myself. I'm enjoying this a lot more than I enjoyed the first one. By this point, I was just kind of like, when will it be over? When will my suffering be over? When will the despair be ended? I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. I'm looking forward to the end in terms of like, oh, where is the story gonna go? How is this gonna end? But I will admit, my throat is really starting to go. I need a break. Oh, I'm running out of water. Okay. There's no way something that crazy is possible.
What?
Do you know about the final days of the Reserve Corps students during the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Final days?
In other words...
Junko had the Junko has the power to change people's values. This is also true of famous people throughout history. Hey, what do you mean, final days? What happened to the reserve department?
Of course!
They fulfilled their role as disposable limbs. They believed in what they needed to do. I'm sorry, I don't know whether I'm more shocked at the big number or mass suicide. That is almost 2,500 students in... Oh... And... How big was this school? I could not think of a single school that could fit over 2,000 students. And this place is a private school. I mean, dear God, the primary department, the department with all the ultimates, like, they had like under 20 students per class. Meanwhile, the reserve department, over 2,000. I'm like, what? Oh my God, they must have been stuffed in like battery hens. Holy shit. And so, the 2,357 students of the reserve department all committed mass suicide. Mass suicide?
What'd you say?
All 2,357 students? Oops, it wasn't all of them. One person was excluded. One person was excluded? Huh? Is that me?
Damn it!
I don't believe it. There's no way I can believe this. Ultimate despair, Junko Enoshima? Doesn't scare me at all. I mean...
Bastard!
Junko Enoshima is already dead. Huh? Ultimate despair has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. Reserve department has been updated in your handbook. Check the truth bullets menu to review it. Hey, Fuyuhiko, is it true what you said? Junko Enoshima is already dead?
Huh?
What? You didn't see? There was a book called Manga for Morons Killing School Life in that bloody classroom. A bloody classroom? No, wait, what was that you said about the killing school life? Like the killings we were involved in. They were killings what happened at Hope's Peak Academy. As I recall, the mastermind took her own life because the remaining students worked together to defeat her.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. The killing school life ended up failing in the end. As a result, the 6 students who survived managed to escape from the academy.
Hey!
For a manga about the killing school life, it was drawn with a lot of silly images and dumb gags. According to that, the mastermind behind the failed killing school life was Junko Enoshima. The mastermind took her own life, which means Junko Enoshima is dead.
Like...
It turns out that killing school life was part of that whole biggest, most awful, whatever incident. Junko took away the memories of former students of Hope's Peak Academy and forced them to kill each other. Former students of Hope's Peak Academy, and she took away their memories. That's just like us. Apparently, the whole thing was being filmed by surveillance cameras and broadcast worldwide. There's a limit to being a cruel asshole. The surveillance cameras were broadcasting the whole thing?
So...
The students of Hope's Peak Academy are widely known as symbols of hope. By forcing people to watch these symbols of hope kill each other for the sake of survival. They were trying to fill everyone who watched the broadcast with despair all at once. That's messed up.
Huh.
But that messed up plan was stopped. Junko Enoshima failed. Junko lost to the students she placed in her trap, and after being overcome by the despair she created, she took her own life. Then Junko is no more. No matter how horrible she was, there's no reason to fear someone who's dead. Whether Monokuma's story is true or not, it doesn't matter.
Bastard!
Junko Enoshima isn't alive anymore. Then, who is our enemy? If Junko Enoshima is already dead, are the rest of the Ultimate Despairs behind this? Are the followers of Junko carrying out her will? That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, the killings we're involved in resemble that killing school life. Well, I don't know who the hell is imitating Junko and making us go through this, but... An imitation is just that. An imitation.
No shit!
If the students from Hope's Peak Academy stop the real deal, there's no way we'll lose to some fake. But if this is really an imitation, are those surveillance cameras the same too? The cameras all over Jabberwock Island. Are they broadcasting to somewhere, just like the surveillance cameras during the killing school life? Killing School Life has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook. Ultimate Despair has been updated in your handbook. Check the Truth Bullets menu to review it. Man, Hajime, you totally know about that story, huh? What? Do you have a problem with that? Well, I really wanted you to read the manga version since I took the time to draw it.
What are you gonna do?
Oh well, I'll just raise the flag. Flag? What do you mean raise the flag? What's going to happen if you do that?
Ooh, how exciting!
One step at a time! You're getting closer to clearing my character route. You're not making sense again.
Well now.
Now then, I'll give you guys my all. I'll tell you everything I know, including information on the outside and the inside.
Yaha!
I'll raise them flags like crazy. Okay.
What?
What a surprise! Do you want to hear about the Ultimate Despairs again? No, I don't really need you to.
Hey,
Even though the term Ultimate Despair refers to a group these days. Wait a minute, is this actually just going to go over? Because my voice can't take it. My voice can't take it, so I'm just... Oh, he just started on his own. Yeah, I'm not... If I've read it once, I can't do it again. It's fine already, you don't have to keep explaining.
What?
Huh? It's fine already, but I'm just getting to the good part. Good part or not, I've already heard this from you before. Okay, so are we just leaving? Fourth floor, hello. Huh? It changed to a different hallway again. It's so sudden. What's going on to make something like this happen? No, I've already decided that I'm not going to be surprised. That's right, there's no time for me to be surprised by something like this. Okay, there's the chemistry room. Hello, Akane. Akane's twitching her nose like a beast and examining her surroundings. Hey, what happened?
Based on my gut feeling.
Well, you know, it's just my gut, but I feel like someone's getting closer. Huh? What do you mean, who?
So...
I don't know, it's just my gut after all.
It's just my gut!
But still, her gut is pretty impressive. For some reason, it's strangely intuitive. And Monokuma did say something about the main cast coming. It's surprising, but her gut must be correct again this time. Okay. Okay, I'm loving how glitched out the school is. 2, I'm loving the black spots. This is a really cool sequence. A really cool sequence. Okay. We can't go through there. Okay, there's the music room. Again, let me just check. Okay. Yeah. Again, we need to be on the lookout for hidden Monokumas. I think we've got 2 left. This looks like the music room. I feel like I can see something strange. Okay. God, there's a lot of detailing on the roof. If there's a Monokuma up there, I can't see it. It's a very nice looking grand piano. It might be very valuable. Ibuki might have been able to play this. Okay. Looks like it's some sort of monument. Why would there be a monument in a music room? Ooh. And not just that. The mark engraved into the monument is the symbol of the Future Foundation, right? Below that symbol, there's a short passage engraved. To combat the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, the graduates of Hope's Peak Academy were among the many who established the Future Foundation. Huh? The Future Foundation was established by the graduates of Hope's Peak Academy? Aren't they known as World Ender? This is completely different. Monokuma, he completely made it up. Again, no, you're assuming that because the word or the name World Ender is scary, therefore the organization must be scary. It's not. They're ending Junko's world. Monokuma, he completely made it up. Future Foundation's origins has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook. Okay, and this. What is this? Words are floating in the air. This is like a hologram, right? Ooh. Oh, yeah. Total of 15 survivors. I believe there were 15 original students. Of this game, at least. Oh, wait, was that the first? No, there were only 6 survivors of the first game. The floating letters are forming a sentence. It looks like a passage from an email. Regarding the report we gave you the other day, we have obtained information. A person who claims to be a survivor of Hope's Peak Academy. Upon further investigation, there are a total of 15 survivors. You may be wondering about the number of people at this time. If they're survivors of Hope's Peak Academy, it's possible they may be targeted by ultimate despair. We believe we should acquire them and place them in our care as soon as possible. Though I don't believe the group can go that far without Junko Enoshima rallying them. In a worst-case scenario, we must prevent a repeat of the killing school life. Also, if they are survivors of Hope's Peak Academy, we should expect them to be quite valuable to us. However, we are still investigating the details of their origins and haven't located them either. We will continue investigating this matter. Also, regarding a separate matter, we have received a report from the research facility on Jabberwock Island. Preparations have been completed. It seems we can proceed with the experimental phase of the Neo World program. Survivors of Hope's Peak Academy? 15 students? Is that about us? Excluding Chiaki, who was part of the Future Foundation, there were definitely 15 of us, but what does survivors mean? It's like they're talking from some other world. What happened outside Jabberwock Island? If the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is really true, then the world isn't normal anymore, maybe. I'm starting to feel like we might be better off not remembering the memories we've lost. The Academy's Survivors has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook. I guess that's all the clues in this room. It's finally confirmed. The Future Foundation is on our side, at least. They were founded by the graduates of Hope's Peak Academy, and they took us in to protect us. But if that's true, Chiaki should have made that clear to us. No, as long as Monokuma was around, she probably couldn't say anything carelessly. Monokuma. If he's the Future Foundation's enemy, then his true identity must be the ultimate despairs who caused the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The ones who are carrying out the will of Junko Enoshima are making us go through this. Also, this caught my attention in the email too. What is this research facility on Jabberwock Island mentioned in the email? What's that about? The only Future Foundation facility we found was that ancient ruin. There's no way that's the research facility. If there really is a research facility on this island, there should be other Future Foundation members here. Somehow, there are still so many mysteries. And I am going to bring this episode to a close right here. In the next one, we keep on exploring. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.